Back to the fact that I feel worse for his wife every time, not because this is embarrassing, but because he seems to know nothing about female anxiety. Now, Doug, if you discovered something similar that your father had created, I want you to really think about this. How would you feel about it? Would you tell no one? Would you give me a call and go, you're never going to believe this, you got to read this?
No, I'm sure we'll discuss that definitely with, my brother and my sisters first. I'm sure I would have no issue discussing that with you. I don't know that I would make it a public, forum for people to listen to. But again, if it's something that he wrote and published, he obviously wants it to be heard. So
right.
I would take it to my grave. I would never tell anybody.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think I would start with that small family because, if I found this out and my brother and my two sisters didn't know, I absolutely would tell them. Just to find out if they knew and didn't tell me.
Right.
More than anything, I'd want to know if they knew and had kept the secret the whole time. So
I think maybe because my parents were divorced, I never thought about parents having a sexual life.
Sure.
Right.
No
one does.
But I think that some people have parents who are still together and they're like demonstratively physical with each other. And since I had almost none of that, especially between my parents, my parents both dated after they divorced and had relationships. But first, I was able to ignore that part of my childhood because it didn't exist, that my parents had sex. Other than before me, before I was cognizant of it, it was never in my face. And so my parents as sexual beings is terrifying to me.
So we know Brandon listened to about 7-8 episodes.
Something like that, yeah.
John?
I think I listened to I feel like got a good 15 or 16 episodes in. Didn't stop listening because it stopped being funny. It did. Right. It was still funny.
It's always funny.
It's always funny.
Right.
But, this definitely happens with any kind of media. It can happen with a TV series where you just drift off and you're not sure why. There are a lot of shows right now that I've stopped watching, even though I really enjoy them, and go, just like like Brandon, when I listened to these 2 episodes, revisited them, I also thought, oh, this was great. This was very funny. I forgot how much I liked it.
Right.
I should go back to listen to more, and I realized how many have been uploaded since I stopped listening.
There were a couple things about it, and also something you said that, again, in the world of podcasts, as we found out previously, never occurred to me that there might be educational-based podcasts.
Sure.
You said this was a podcast that you and Maria listened to.
Right.
I immediately thought, I couldn't imagine listening to a podcast with someone.
Oh, interesting.
Which is funny because every week you ask me, where I listen to it, how I listen to it, and it's always by myself because I just, unlike the radio where you might turn it on in a room and even have it for background noise,
sure.
It seems very weird to me that you would sit around and listen to a podcast with somebody.
I feel like we should go through with Doug a list of things you can do with podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, I think I am enjoying
you can listen with a friend.
I am enjoying the discovery.
Okay.
So I think we need to, at some point in time in the near future, sit down and the 3 of us, maybe if it's something that the 3 of us have never listened to, experience together. I think the 3 of us should listen and then immediately record right after.
30th episode. It's got the number 3 in it.
Oh,
we do a live listen.
We do a Holy Trinity episode where we do whatever. Do you think the Pope does a podcast?
I'm almost certain he does.
That would be amazing. Let's listen to the Pope podcast for our 30th episode, the Holy Trinity.
Right.
All right, listeners.
Okay.
Write it down on the
I feel like the last time I saw the Pope, he had those new Bluetooth Apple.
I think he does wear AirBuds. Yeah, he loves that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that Maria and I actually listen to a lot of podcasts together, and it's something that we really enjoy.
But not together.
Touching base
And I can tell you,
not in the same room, but I've listened on long drives. We'll load up a bunch of podcasts, and instead of listening to the radio, we'll listen to podcasts
in the car.
Frequently,
I'm going to say
just
in the
outside
car.
my house, and I don't know he's there. He's listening.
True.
I'm listening.
Right.
I think I'm alone. But then I'll just pass by a
window.
And I see Brandon's ear against the screen. I go, oh, Brandon's here too. So you should know that I also listened to, my dad wrote a porno with a romantic partner at one point. Again, not because...
Right,
because it's funny. Because it's funny.
Right. And again, I want to be clear. I thought the 3 hosts were very funny. Their comments were very funny.
Right.
I thought it
They're
was.
Going to be so relieved.
I thought it was really. Of course they are. I thought it was really weird.
Yes.
When they were talking about making it a drinking game.
Can I initiate, I know we're only on chapter 2, but can I initiate a drinking game here?
Oh, yeah, always.
Any mention of deathly?
That is a favourite, isn't it?
A lot of deft actions. Any mention of rapid movement?
Like, oh, when he does this, and for the really for
Because
the
it made you think, oh, people do this together, and you had
no, because I thought, well, all right, so now you're listening to a podcast about a very sad erotic novel, and now you're drinking by yourself.
I'm very sad.
Why isn't that the subtitle? Belinda blinked. A very sad erotic novel. Done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Brent,
when
maybe.
I thought, when she said that about the drinking game, and they're like, oh my God, that'd be so funny. And I thought, well, because it's me and I'm listening to it by myself, at my office while I'm working, I'm thinking,
Right.
well, not because of work, because that shouldn't stop you from drinking, but just that you would listen to a podcast, like, oh wait, I got to drink at this part. That just seemed like it was funny, haha. But I also thought, who would do that? That seems like the weirdest thing ever.
I don't know if they'd actually play a drinking game. I think that's part of the fun, because there's a lot of different podcasts that are like, oh, we should turn this into a drinking game.
Sure.
Because of some repeated elements or whatever. Yeah. But the other thing what's so strange to me about the podcast is, and maybe it isn't strange for Jamie, but Jamie is reading something that his dad wrote about sex.
Right.
And he doesn't ever really, maybe in later episodes he delves into the psyche of his father or how their interactions change. Because the other thing is that eventually he has to go home and sit down to dinner with his dad and his mom. And everyone has to be aware of the fact that his dad is writing about vaginas and penises.
Right, he has to remember terms like vaginal lids.
Yes, lids.
Pussy area.
Moist and steamy vaginas.
Yes.
Which, I mean, a steamy vagina is on a cold day.
Right.
Look,
So
I want to go on
nice,
record and say,
so lovely.
moist, fantastic. That's
Right.
that's what I'm
That's what you
looking
want.
for. It's like if I'm checking boxes, moist, box check. Steamy, I think I'd be very concerned.
Steamy it means go to the doctor.
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Look, anybody listening right now, or if you have
We
a
are
loved
not
one,
doctors.
we're not. We should
We're
say
not
right
medical
that.
professionals.
Doug, you are also not.
I am not.
None of us are doctors. But if you or a loved one has a steamy vagina, don't wait to find out what's that. Go to a doctor
don't
now.
press your pants.
Yes.
Do not get some clams.
Don't just put ice in there.
No.
No, don't
Go
get
to
in
the
a cool bath. Go to a doctor.
Go to a doctor.
Anyway, I hate to get on my soapbox with this guy,
Just-
but seriously.
Maybe he's a little ahead of his time, because doesn't your beloved Gwyneth Paltrow recommend steaming the clam?
Oh, maybe he was reading Goop.
Doug, tell me more about, I don't follow Goop, although
I don't either.
my heart follows my Gwenny.
Yes,
Although-
and Gwynny does recommend that.
If you may be right. Also, if your vagina is producing goop, then also go to a doctor, guys.
doctor.
Doug, can we go back to the steaming the clam? By the way, very sensitive terminology.
Okay.
Can we go? What did Gwyneth Paltrow recommend?
That, and she also recommended, which I could get the term
Well,
wrong,
let's
the
not jump
yoni.
over this. What do you mean by steaming it? Like a neti pot, like you would with your nose?
I believe it's
sinuses.
much like going and having a wax or a bleach or something else.
Yeah.
You can go to a day spa and I'm guessing squat over a steam bath. I truly don't know.
And she recommends this?
if our listeners call in now and say they need more information,
Highly unlikely based on how podcasts work, but they might call in later. By the way, if you do have any info on this, mdltpodcasts@gmail.com.
Is it for wrinkles?
It is. I believe she promotes it.
I'm thinking,
Yes, I believe she promotes it for health.
Okay.
And that and the yoni.
All right, this is the only thing I'm going to say. Maybe I'm just grasping at straws because I love Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes, you do.
But
More than anyone should.
No, exactly the right amount. Doug, I'm going to kill your mic again. So watch it, buddy. I have control of killing your mic.
Hey, even Chris Martin said enough's enough.
Well, it's Chris Martin. I think we all agree with Gwyneth Paltrow. By the way, that was very amicable. I don't want to get into that right now, Doug.
Okay.
But we all know about like neti pots and steaming sinuses, right?
Yes.
And the epithelia of the sinus is very similar to the epithelia of the vagina. They both produce mucus.
John, what are you talking about?
Maybe it makes sense.
Maybe. If Gwen said it, it probably makes sense to you.
Doug, that is exactly my take. Yes, go on.
Well, I was going to just say, my other thought about this, when you said, at some point he's got to come home, sit across the dining room table with his parents and discuss this. I would say that would be a fairly easy discussion because it was not good erotica. Had it been really good, like his dad was great at it,
Right.
then I think he would be like, "Holy crap, what's going
You
on
think
with
there's
my
a
dad?"
comfort,
But-
like, that's adorable.
Right.
You know
It's-
nothing about
You're
sex.
the same exact dad that I grew up with, who wears the White Sox, has the very white legs,
Wears a flat cap because he's from
and
Britain. I'm just picturing
yeah, of course,
Rocky,
exactly.
right?
I mean, the best part about this is
a
actually
cardigan, flat cap.
during the podcast, I was creating images of Rocky
Yes.
and what this dude must look like as he's at the keyboard typing away. No,
Describe him, please.
I think we have. I mean, he's just he's that everyman rich guy, probably a little heavy set. He was a salesman, so I'm immediately picturing kind of the gut over the belt and just little
Sure.
pasty white, not enough sun. But I'm just saying.
Doug, can I show you the book photo that his father uploaded to be Rocky
Okay,
Flintstone?
yes. But I'm
And
saying
this is
that.
vetted. I know this to be the actual photo.
So what I'm saying, though, is that it had to have been a fairly easy conversation because it was so bad.
Doug, can you describe this photo to our listeners?
That is I'm going to say a topless waiter from any of the numerous bars on Santa Monica in West Hollywood.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay.
And apparently Rocky took that photo when he was about 23.
Yep. Now, Doug, why did you choose as the specific city West Hollywood for that photo?
I think it's descriptive.
Okay. There's an effeminate quality, perhaps, to this male. He seems twinky, right? He's a little twinky. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, it just very clean cut.
He's very clean cut, right?
But this
He
is
looks
the
like a
avatar.
very clean cut young
Yes.
guy. This, of course, is not Jamie's
Right.
father.
Right.
This is, but it gives us insight into Rocky Flintstone.
Sure.
The man who's
This is
known to Bloom.
what we'd like
He
people to
thought, this
think
is
that
what I
Rocky
want this guy to
Flintstone
look like. Which I would have pictured maybe a more elder statesman
Yeah.
of sexuality.
Sure.
And not, as you say, a guy that looks like he's
A young
19. Yeah. Interesting. Now, Doug.
Okay,
this,
well,
of
wait,
course, was
just to say.
self-published, yes.
Don't you think that would be one? I don't know that the podcast would exist if his dad had been actually really good at writing.
I think you're right. It's not
totally
funny at
agree.
that point.
It wouldn't be funny. It would be something that you might not tell
Right.
hardly anyone.
Doug,
It's
when I
it's
asked
horrible.
you about listening to podcasts, you went, I listen to them all the time.
Yeah.
I have actually great insight. I enjoy most of the podcasts I listen to. I have zero fear of downloading things. This podcast would not exist, Doug.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right. It's funny because something has gone wrong somewhere.
Yes, and it was funny.
Yes,
Right.
okay,
Yes.
good.
Right, and the ambition of the writer doesn't match the ability level, and which makes it easier for those who are going to make a comedic trifle of it.
I mean, again,
Successful.
it could be extremely popular because it is so bad that, much like we talked about the bad movie that's so bad it's good.
Right.
His books may be that so bad
Right.
that they're good,
I
and you're
absolutely
laughing
think
at
that's what
you're
they are,
laughing
yeah.
at things he obviously doesn't want you, or didn't intend for you to laugh at. But that's what makes it brilliant.
I
and
think you're
I
absolutely
could see
right.
that happen.
Similar structure to how did this get made? We have two males, a female. They're all very funny, and they're dealing with source material where the creator tried their best and failed miserably in most cases. Obviously, the two movies that you heard them discuss are absolutely amazing movies, Bloodsport and, of course, Roadhouse.
I think that
Complete successes in both cases.
that even Roadhouse and Bloodsport, because of the fact that they are sort of ridiculous.
Well, they're
even though-
outlandish,
Yeah, they're
absolutely.
outlandish, and that makes it so they're good fodder, which
Yes.
is
Right.
also true for this. Yeah, because the other thing is, you're absolutely right. I would be so much more horrified if my dad was really good at describing the deep and penetrative sexual acts that he had performed across many different women. Be like, okay, Dad, I can never look you in the face again.
Yeah, well, it's unavoidable evidence that your father is a true sexual person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And successful at it.
Right.
And maybe this is a deep-seated fear of mine that I'm always bad at it.
Right.
And so I'd hate to think that my dad was much, much better
We're
at it.
better than you.
And so I never want to know how
Wow,
good my
that's-
dad
I
is.
have to
I've
assume he was.
never
I
had.
have to assume he was.
I have never had that thought.
About how good or poor your father was as a
Yes.
performer.
And or in relationship to my own
Doug,
performance.
let's be honest. He was good enough for kids.
Right,
He was
yeah,
doing something
exactly.
right?
Absolutely.
Doug, do you think you will, considering you did think their take on all this was funny, do you think you'll continue listening to this? Will you listen to more episodes of My Dad Wrote a Porno?
No. Maybe. I mean, I can see that now because one, I've already made the sacrifice of
Jump
downloading
into the world of
the app,
downloading.
and